Hi. As a grief and trauma therapist, I have seen and heard many scenarios of devastation, of torment, and found one thing to be true with all my clients, that words matter. And how you use them can either give you power that you need, or it can take away that power, leaving you feeling helpless and hopeless, with no hope for any kind of future beyond bleak. By combining my gifts as an author of award-winning novels, I realized that by tapping into those deepest reaches of your soul and using the words of truth, people heal their mind, body, and soul because all three are affected by grief. I mean, that's just the reality, right? Now, as a counselor, I knew that there was more that I could do instead of just talking about feelings. Because that's what we've all experienced, haven't we? We've gone to a counsellor and they just repeat in a parrot phrase, and how does that make you feel? And how does that make you feel? And what are you feeling right now? Okay. I knew there was more to that. I could create more. I could give my clients more. I didn't just want to find out about how they felt. I wanted to know their deepest inner core emotions. I wanted to know their deepest, darkest thoughts. I wanted to know about those irrational behaviors because it is those things that we needed to look at first before we even looked at the grief. And I'll tell you why. Because it's those learned behaviors from childhood through into teenage years, through into young adulthood, and even into adulthood itself. If you haven't changed those learned behaviors, if you haven't dealt with all those dark, dictating thoughts, if you haven't dealt with all of those deep emotional feelings that are now dictating who you are, how do you expect to heal completely? How do you expect to heal your grief if you haven't dealt with everything back then? It's impossible. It doesn't happen. And I was finding this time and time again with my clients. They were getting to a point of fine, or I'm okay. Oh, no, 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 no. Life is more than fine. Life is more than okay. I wanted to take my clients from, yeah, I'm okay, to, oh my goddess, what is happening? I am alive. I am feeling amazing. I want to take people from this to, wow, I never knew life could be like this. And you know why life can be like this? Because you've dealt with and healed and worked through everything before the grief, not just gone to the grief. And that's what I was seeing time and time again. People were just dealing with the grief that was in front of them. They weren't looking behind them. And I know that can seem like a very daunting thing to do. But surely, if you've got the courage to deal with this grief, you've got the courage to deal with that. Because if you don't deal with that baggage, this, there's no point. No point. And I wanted more from my clients. As I said, I wanted to take my clients from this, fine, yeah, to wow. So I did. I changed my therapies so that just for 2 to 3 hours a week over 5 months, your lives can change if you want it to. My clients were fully releasing their anger, and I'm talking years and years of anger. their stress, their tension, their frustration, and every single thing that was heavy and dark, so that they felt lighter, they felt happy, they felt energized, they felt such a peace in their heart and soul. They felt content because they were finally living at a higher vibration. They were finally living in a higher frequency. Can you imagine how that feels? Imagine giving yourself permission to live again and taking progressive steps to this new adventure while honoring your memories of your loved ones who died. People say to me, well, I don't want to forget my loved ones. Why would you? I'm not brainwashing you. This isn't a brainwash technique. I'm not just suddenly going to pull the memories of your loved ones out of your brain. That's not how healing works. What it does do is it enables you to put your grief into a pocket size that you can carry around in your pocket instead of it hanging over you like a dark cloud, overwhelming and pulling you down every single day. What does that feel like? So imagine finding the right words to bridge that gap between you and your partner so that you don't have to do this journey alone, unless you choose to, of course. I come across so many marriages that break down, so many relationships that break down because there's no honest conversations, there's no healing taking place. People are coming at it from different energies, from different vibrations. Nobody's understanding what the other person's saying anymore. Nobody wants to get into that vibe anymore. Imagine getting restful sleep so that you can regain clarity and normality again. Imagine having a renewed zest for life and having the energy to do it, to follow through with it. Imagine allowing happiness back into your life again without feeling guilty about it, without feeling shame for daring to smile or laugh or having a good time with your friends and family. As you tap into your authentic self through a variety of writing exercises, you can accept and heal all of your emotions. Can you imagine how that would feel? You know, as you encounter new levels of self-expression and creativity, you begin to open up a new world of possibilities that you possibly didn't even know existed before. I've had clients say to me, wow, I never knew I could draw. I never knew that I could write such beautiful prose. I didn't know I could think like that. When you start to raise your vibration, you start to allow yourself little adventures into yourself, into the true you of who you really are. Not who you think you were, who you were hiding behind, but who you really are. You feel a renewed and loving reconnection to the universal love that is always available to heal and guide you. And no, this is not about religion. Nothing to do with religion. Angels and spirit guides are with you from the moment you are born, throughout your whole life, and they're there when you die. And as a spiritual medium, as well as an author and a grief guru, I tap into that and I use that guidance and that loving, healing energy to create a bespoke program just for you. How does that feel? That there is a beautiful guidance that is creating this around you and what you need. How would that feel? How would it feel to be unashamedly you? How do you think that would feel? Does that sound like something you'd like to tap into so that your future is full of light and possibilities instead of darkness and despair? Well, I don't want to waste your time. So this program is for you if you're a powerful, creative woman, but this grief is just too much and it isn't shifting. And you know that you need help to move through this using a different approach than just counseling. Because I am not just a counselor. I offer therapy for the soul. So if you're looking for a counselor, then I'm not the one for you. If it's been over 12 months since your loved one died, and something within you is ready to make that shift, and this feels right for you, if you're taking it all out on your partner, and you're feeling disconnected to your loved ones around you, like I said previously, I have seen so many families and partnerships and relationships and friendships just dissolve because of grief. If at times this feels like it will never end, it's this grief that is just attached to you like a limpet, but part of you knows that you're worthy of life again. And how about if you know that there is life after grief, but you haven't been quite ready to open up to that possibility until now? And that's okay. Whether it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. I once helped a man deal with his grief 52 years. 52 years he had held on to his grief. 2 sessions with me, he was a different man. Don't be that guy. Don't hold on to it for 52 years. You know that you want to say goodbye to the pain of waking up every morning and remembering the horror that they are no longer with you, that they are gone. Imagine if you could put your grief, as I said, into your pocket instead of it being so overwhelming and it destroys your life. Imagine if you could let go of a life of oblivion and walking around in a total brain fog. How do you think it would feel if you could just let go of that? If you're willing to let go of sleepless nights and those nightmare demons so that you can feel human and you're able to function every day. Can you imagine letting go of being alone and having that feeling of being lonely when you're in company? Do you know what I mean when I talk about that? Can you imagine letting go of burying your destructive emotions of anger and resentment? Going through the motions, pretending that everything is okay when it's obviously not. Judging yourself harshly if you have a good time, like I said, or if you dare to smile. Oh, and if you laugh. The guilt, the shame. Can you imagine letting that go? Can you imagine letting go of being frozen in time and remaining stuck in the past while you continuously blame yourself? And that feeling of helplessness. Because we can never change the past. We can't. We can only change our future. Are you sick of avoiding people? Not leaving your house just in case someone mentions the person who died and you burst into tears? Is the fear stopping you from living life? Can you imagine releasing that fear? How do you think that would feel? How do you think you'd think? Here's another one that I come across a lot. How would it feel if you could say goodbye and allow yourself to enjoy the hobbies that you once loved because your feelings of unworthiness has morphed into lethargy because you are unable to see the next chapters of your life? I have heard that time and time again. Oh, I don't do what I used to do anymore. I don't go swimming anymore. I don't walk anymore. I don't do my knitting group anymore. I don't read anymore because you feel like there's no point. You can't be bothered. You've got no energy to be you. Now, this is what happened when P came to me after the death of her son, and she has found a new lease of life. She is no longer saying yes just to please others because of unresolved childhood traumas. She is socializing again and is excited about life. She is a new woman with a new energy for life and her future. She wants her future to be amazing. She hasn't forgotten her son. Of course she hasn't. That's impossible. But she has made her peace with his death, and her renewed connection to her angels and her guides also means that she has had messages from her son that bring her hope, brings her light and a loving reconnection instead of a dark and heavy blackness, which is all she saw before she started working with me. She's now coming to the end of her 5 months, and she can't believe the transition. And you can check out what other women have said, and I will put the testimonials in the comments below. Okay, so I know, amazing, right? But hang on a minute. In all my excitement to tell you what I can help you with, I forgot to introduce myself. So, I am Paula J. Roscoe, and as I said at the beginning, I am a grief guru. I'm an international award-winning author. I'm a spiritual holistic coach. I'm an angel healer, and so much more, because I believe that life is to be lived, embraced, enjoyed, rather than existing within it and being endured. I became a grief specialist following the sudden death of my son 28 years ago. And I wasn't given any support or help, even 3 years later when I found out the hospital had kept parts of my son's body. But sadly, when I did eventually get round to having a counsellor, which was a few years later after that, I only stayed for 2 sessions because the young counsellor had no experience whatsoever. And she was just parroting the phrase, "How does that make you feel?" Oh, boring. And it's so degrading. I knew that there was more. I knew that there had to be more that I could offer grieving mothers. So I volunteered with Cruise Bereavement Care while I began to tentatively test the water of various therapies, doing short courses on suicide, mental health, grief, and finally I went back to college to qualify as a person-centered counsellor. I trained as an adult teacher and I became a supervisor and a grief trainer for Cruise, teaching other volunteers how to become grief support workers. But even then, I knew that I could offer even more to people because I felt the spirit, mind, and body were not in complete alignment. So I became a drumming therapist. I became a voice healer. I knew that sound could heal people, so I helped people with humming, using their voice. I created music and movement. I created a deeper way of healing the mind, body, and spirit. And as an author, I knew that words had power. And so my clients were amazed by the way they felt. They were feeling lighter, happier. They were dancing on air when they were leaving my workshops. Some of them were skipping out of sessions, and these are women who had severe depression. They could barely look up from their belly button. But a couple of hours with me, and they were completely different people. And I realized that I could incorporate all of this with my grief counseling. Because as I said, I am not just a counselor. I am a therapist for your soul. And I offer you a chance to work with me if you are ready to commit in yourself and invest in your future. We can have a no pressure conversation and see if this feels right for you. See if we feel right, a good fit, like a good shoe. If not, we can discuss alternatives that may suit your needs. How does that sound? So to sum up, and if you're still watching, then there must be something within you that is interested, right? I work with people ready to come back to life and to be the author of their own future. I use a variety of modalities, including intuitive writing exercises and meditations that are guided by the universe so that I create a bespoke and unique therapy for you. And we also use a lot of talking together, obviously, as we delve deeper into what makes you and dissolve all those limiting beliefs that create the you, all those thoughts that create the you, all those behaviors that created you, that now dictate how you behave, how you think, and how you feel right now in grief. For only 2 to 3 hours a week, you can achieve a happier, peaceful, lighter life where you can enjoy every day, feel gratitude, feel love, feel joy, instead of dreading every day and feeling sluggish and sick of death and life and sick of feeling heavy and exhausted. You can let go of that anger. You can let go of all that sorrow and all that hopelessness. How does that feel? So I urge you, if any of that is resonating with you, if you feel it in your heart, breathe into that. Sit with this. Sit with me. Sit with this video and just and ask yourself the question, does this feel right for me? It's a yes or no answer. Your body will either go, yes, or it will go, no, no, not right now, no. Now, your heart is your truth. When we let fear dictate our life, we go into self-preservation. So you need to work out, is it self-preservation or are you going to listen to your heart space? If it's self-preservation, then that's okay. You're not quite ready. You can always come back to this video when you are and listen to it again and ask the same question. Does this feel right for me? Yes or no? Grab a free call now and let's see what your future holds. Oh, and I am so excited to meet you. And I am so excited to take this journey with you, however that might look, with so much love.